Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dustin Cronin, and I am the president and founder of Creating Connections Piece by Piece. And I am an individual who lives with autism who aims to help other folks communicate on the autism spectrum. And in this video, what I would like to share with you is disclosing your disability to your workplace employer. And I will break this down into so many different parts. But today I will share one story. And I will share the story of when I was working the drive-thru at Whataburger. And while I was working the drive-thru at Whataburger, I had to take orders a certain way. The way they wanted me to say it was, "Thank you for choosing Whataburger, home of your all-time favorites. This is Dustin speaking. How may I help you?" I couldn't say it any other way but that. Whenever I was taking an order on the drive-thru, I had to wear a headset, and when a car comes up to the drive-thru, it beeps. And so, on the register, there was a variety of different ways. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then the all-time favorites. And sometimes I had to scroll to find an order. And there was one time where I was working the drive-thru, and I also had to make drinks as well, and I had to count the money down fast. I couldn't take my time, and I also had to be accurate. So, one day while I was working the drive-thru, the area manager comes up to shop us, and his order was on 18 minutes, and he saw where the order wasn't rang up because the order was made the way it was rung up, and he said he wanted no onions on it. So there were onions on it, and it was made wrong, and the order took too long, and he came back in there and he graded us on how fresh the fries were. He had his thermometer to put it in the fries and in the burger, and then when he ate the burger, he tested everything. And his order was so long and his food was cold, and he was not happy about it at all. And then while I was on the drive-thru, I was counting the money too slow, and then I was falling behind making drinks, and the drive-thru was very overwhelming for me. So whenever I was counting the money, I was counting it too slow. I was counting it maybe like 3 times. Like, say for example, I owed the customer $19, so I had to count the $10 bill, the ones, to make sure I didn't give any extra. So I took my time, and there were customers behind that drove off when the order thing beeped, and so they were getting very impatient, and I kept them waiting too long because I was so busy, and I couldn't move fast enough because I had to make drinks, and I was falling behind on that, and I had to stick the condiments, and also I had to say when they were done ordering, I was saying, "Was there anything else?" But my area manager said, "Don't say, 'Is there anything else?' Say, 'Will that complete your order?'" And he also said that when I was on the front end register, when I had that habit of saying, "Is there anything else?" He said, "I don't know what anything else is." He goes, "What you're supposed to say is, 'Will that complete your order?'" And that was at the end of their ordering, when they were done ordering. And then I cashed them out and everything like that. And sometimes I would forget to ring up the cheese on the burger, and they would come in and complain about it. And they were having to remake almost every other order. And managers were also having to come and help me find when, say for example, when I couldn't find an order, like on how to make the burger plain and dry, how to ring it up that way. Or when they said no tomato, sometimes it would take me forever to find it, and I was getting too overwhelmed. So even when I worked the front end register, it was the same thing. When my area manager also came in, he heard me say, "Is there anything else?" And I said, Is there anything else? So I had to work on saying, well, that completes your order. And as many times as he came in there and he saw me working the register and they were getting customer complaints, he recommended to my GM that to accommodate me to better put me on somewhere where I could move a little better, which was he told them to put me on sandwiches on the board or the grill, or whatever you want to call it, makeup table where you make the sandwiches. So he put me over there and he thought I might do better over there. So what I want to give advice, because I did not want them to know I had autism at the time when I was working the drive-thru, and I didn't want to admit that I was getting overwhelmed on the drive-thru because I wanted to train to be a manager and learn all the stations so I could move up in the company. So when I was like, I felt like I had to learn it to be able to move up, and I was like, at the time when they took me off the drive-thru, I thought that the area manager, that he was interfering with what I was trying to do, trying to move up so I could live a stable life because I was newly married at the time. So, as for my experience on the drive-thru and on the front-end register, you have to be quick, you have to be accurate, you cannot take too much time, because if you spend too much time trying to scroll for an order, or if you're counting the money 4 times and you're trying to take your time, customers will just leave, and that could really break a business. So, and it's also the manager's job is to find somebody who can work a little faster and live up to that expectation, and who can count money a little faster and be accurate. And I will get into more details, and I will share my experiences on the fry station and on the board and the grill, and my experiences with HEB. I will get into all that later on in other videos. So, if y'all have any other questions or need any help in the comment box, please submit your questions. But I do have one advice to people who don't want to disclose your disability. I'm not saying that people shouldn't have choices to whether they want to or not, but if you don't share your disability with your employer, how can they accommodate you? Because if they put you on the drive-thru or on the board, or whatever you want to call it, makeup table, or the grill, which is very fast-paced, and you're not communicating, you're going to leave them wondering why. So, my advice is you are better off if you do disclose your disability to your employer. So that way they can accommodate you, because they can't accommodate you if they don't know. So I hope you all enjoyed watching this video, and thank you so much, and you all have a wonderful rest of your day.